I faked my own death online for 30 days. Here's what people actually said. Day 4. Someone I had known for 11 years wrote 3 sentences about me. Not a paragraph, not a story, 3 sentences. The first was about how we met. The second was about something I had done for them once, years ago, that I had completely forgotten. The third was, he will be missed. I sat with that for a long time. He will be missed. Not, I will miss him. Not something specific about who he was or what his presence in the world meant. Just, he will be missed. Passive, general. The kind of sentence you write when you need to write something and do not know what to say. That was day 4. By day 23, I understood that day 4 had been one of the kinder ones. The setup. The experiment required 3 things. First, a post. Brief, factual, written by a fictional cousin who had never appeared in my online life before. A sudden illness, nothing dramatic. The kind of death that happens to people in their 40s and surprises everyone who thought there was more time. Second, silence. For 30 days, I would observe everything that followed without responding, correcting, or revealing myself. I would watch from the outside, completely. Third, documentation. Every response, every message, every public comment and private silence. All of it logged. I chose a Tuesday. Tuesdays feel real in a way that weekends do not. I posted at 9 a.m. By noon, I had 47 responses. The first week, the performance of grief. The first thing I noticed was the speed, not of the grief, of the performance of grief. Within minutes, people who had not spoken to me in years were posting. The posts came quickly, almost simultaneously, as if the news had activated something, a social script that ran automatically the moment the word death appeared. I am so sorry for your loss. My heart goes out to the family. He was such a good person. We had such good times together. I can't believe he's gone. These sentences are not wrong. They are the sentences grief produces, or rather, the sentences we have learned to produce when grief is expected of us. The difference matters. A performed sentence and a felt sentence can look identical from the outside. From the inside, they feel completely different. But I was on the outside. What I was looking for, and not yet finding, was the specific detail. The thing only one person could have said. The evidence of a relationship that had actually existed rather than a relationship that was being commemorated. By day 3, I had received 214 responses. Fewer than 30 contained a specific detail I recognized. The second week, the silence. The silence was louder than the responses. There were people I had spoken to every week for years, people I had helped through things, people who had called me, specifically me, when they needed someone at 2 a.m., people whose weddings I had attended, whose children I had watched grow up in photographs. By day 10, 8 of them had not said anything at all. Not a post, not a private message to the fictional cousin, not a quiet acknowledgement in any form. I do not know how to describe what it felt like to watch the silence come from those specific people. It was not anger. Anger requires certainty, and I had no certainty about why they were silent. Some of them may not have seen the post. Some of them may have struggled with what to say and said nothing rather than say the wrong thing. Some of them may have meant to respond and not gotten around to it. These explanations are all possible. None of them changed what the silence felt like. By day 14, the silence from those 8 people had become the central fact of the experiment. The third week. The unexpected ones. Day 16. A message arrived from someone I had not spoken to in 4 years. We had worked together briefly. I had not thought of him as a close friend. Someone I liked, someone I had had a few good conversations with, someone whose departure from that job I had noted without much feeling. His message was long. It was specific. It contained 4 separate memories of conversations we had had, one of which I did not remember, which meant he had been carrying it alone for 4 years. He wrote about what those conversations had meant to him at the time. He wrote about something I had said that had changed how he thought about something. He wrote it the way you write about a person when you are writing about a person, not about the idea of them, not about the role they played, but about the actual specific irreplaceable human being. I read it 3 times. On day 17, another message arrived. A woman I had met twice, at a conference years ago. 2 brief conversations. She wrote a paragraph about what she had observed of me in those 2 meetings, qualities she had noticed, a specific thing I had said that she had written down and kept. She had met me twice. She wrote more honestly about who I was than most people who had known me for years. Day 20. A third unexpected message. From someone I had wronged. Someone I had treated badly in a specific way that I had never apologized for, that I had told myself had probably been forgotten. He wrote, "I know we didn't end well. I hope he knew that I had forgiven him a long time ago. I should have told him." I stared at that message for a very long time. The final days. What the data showed by day 28, I had complete documentation. 261 responses in total. Of those, 43 contained specific memories. The rest, 218, were variations on the same 10 or 12 sentences. Good person. Will be missed. So sorry. Our thoughts are with the family. The 8 people who had been silent remained silent. The 3 unexpected messages, the former colleague, the woman from the conference, the person I had wronged, remained the most honest things anyone had written. And one more thing. One thing I had not anticipated. Several people used my death to write about themselves, about what my dying had made them think about their own lives, about how it reminded them that life was short, about how it had inspired them to reach out to people they had been meaning to reach out to. My death, or the idea of it, had become content for their own reflection. I was the occasion. They were the subject. I do not think this makes them bad people. I think it makes them human. We process loss through the self because the self is the only instrument we have, but watching it happen, watching myself become a prompt for other people's self-examination, was one of the stranger experiences of the experiment. What I know now, on day 30, I ended the experiment. I posted a correction, not an apology, just a factual account of what had happened and why. The reactions to the correction were as interesting as the original responses. Some people were angry, some were relieved, some were embarrassed. A few were genuinely curious about what I had found. The former colleague messaged again. He was not angry. He said, "I meant everything I wrote. I believed him. I still do." What I found was not that people do not care. Most of them do, in the diffuse and general way that people care about most things, genuinely but not specifically, warmly but not precisely. The caring exists. The specificity is rarer. What I found was that the people who knew me most specifically were not always the people I would have predicted. That genuine knowledge of another person, the kind that produces specific memories, honest observations, the particular detail that only one person could have said, comes from attention. And attention is not distributed according to time spent or relationship category or emotional investment. Some people pay attention. Most do not. The ones who paid attention, I knew who they were by day 16. I have not forgotten.